Oh, we're rolling. Hi, I'm Beth Ann Eckerly, and I'm the Communications Director for Emmet County in Northwest Michigan. I moved here 20 years ago for a job right out of college. I thought I'd stay for a few years, get some experience under my belt, and move to a larger city, but I just couldn't bring myself to leave. Living and working in Petoskey as a young 20-something really was the time of my life. There are people here ready to swoop in and show you their very favorite restaurants, bars, beaches, and ski hills. It is one of the friendliest places I have ever been. And so over the past decades, I've discovered my own favorite people, places, and things, and thought an Emmet County top 10 list would be the perfect way to present them to you. So here we go, the top 10 reasons why you should visit/live in Emmet County, Michigan. We're going to start our list, of course, at number 10, our trail network. I know many communities have great trails, right? But not many communities are blessed to have immaculately maintained networks of pathways that circumnavigate Little Traverse Bay and the communities of Emmet County. I'm talking about the Little Traverse Wheelway and the Northwestern State Trail specifically. The Wheelway is a 26-mile paved path from Charlevoix and into Emmet County. It goes through the communities of Bay Harbor, Petoskey, and rolls into the inimitable Harbor Springs. The Northwestern State Trail is a 7.5-mile segment that branches off the Wheelway and heads north through the tiny communities of Odin and Conway, past a fish hatchery and into Alanson. From there, the non-paved trail runs all the way to Mackinac City. While you're exploring these trails, you'll find plenty of irresistible rest stops and photo ops, shops, places to eat, ice cream parlors, bike repairs, and views that I guarantee will remind you that not all trails are created equal. Here we are at number 9, which is the Inland Waterway. Sometimes we refer to this water route as the famed Inland Waterway because there really is nothing like it in the state of Michigan. In the early 1900s, the Inland Water Route was the chain of rivers and lakes promoted in marketing campaigns around big cities like Detroit and Chicago, Cincinnati and Indianapolis to lure people up north. Gleaming white steamers ferried thousands and thousands of resorters to the huge old hotels that used to line the banks of this waterway. That was when tourism was just getting started in Emmet County, and it was a favorite getaway for big city dwellers to take a ride down this inland waterway. But as was the fate of many of our early wooden-built hotels, most of those resort area establishments along the waterway burned to the ground over several decades. Perhaps, though, it might have been a blessing in disguise, because today, the Inland Waterway is one of the most peaceful, secluded, and enjoyable water routes around. It starts in Crooked Lake near Petoskey and winds through 3 rivers and 2 large inland lakes out to Lake Huron, 38 miles away. In between, you'll see native wildlife, lush wetlands, state parks, stunning cottages, and lots of smiling faces on pontooners taking part in one of the most popular leisure pursuits up north, boating. Speaking of boating in northern Michigan, here's a quick fact for you. Emmet County is 460 square miles, and over half of that is water. We have arrived at number 8, which is the Mackinac Bridge. Some things just make a community really cool, and one of those assets here in northern Michigan is the majestic Mackinac Bridge. No matter how many times I see it or drive across it, it never gets old. The Mackinac Bridge is one of the most important landmarks in all of Michigan. And just so you know, it's not pronounced Mackinac, but rather Mackinac, a pronunciation that harkens back to the early days of this area when the French ruled here. The Mighty Mac, as it's often called today, connects Michigan's upper and lower peninsulas. At 5 miles in length, it is one of the longest suspension bridges in the whole world. The engineering marvel that is the Mighty Mac kind of makes you wonder what it must be like to climb to the top and peer out over Michigan's magnificence, doesn't it? Well, I was lucky enough to have that experience with a county colleague in 2014, and it is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And no, it really was not scary, I promise. Here's a Mac fact or two for you. The bridge cost $99.8 million to build, and it was completed in 1957. Each year, more than 4 million vehicles travel across it, which proves it's not just a necessary modes of transportation through Michigan, but it's also a destination in itself. Here we are at number 7 on our list, and it's one of my favorite pastimes to do with my twin sons, Petoskey stone hunting. We mentioned already the clear waters that surround us in Emmet County, whether it's in the Great Lakes that are our boundary or within the inland lakes and rivers that are recreationalists' paradise. This makes for great Petoskey stone hunting, a favorite pastime of visitors and locals alike. Sometimes you may happen upon a trove of these Petoskey stones and feel like you've hit the jackpot. Other times, a big speckled rock will catch your eye beneath the clear, calm waters just offshore. These unusually decorated rocks bear a hexagonal pattern, which is convenient because the official name of this fossil is Hexagonaria pericarinata, a 3,000-year-old relic that keeps washing ashore. Lest you think these stones can only be found in the Great Lakes, many times they are actually discovered in our inland waters too, like in Walloon and Crooked Lakes, due to the movement of glaciers thousands of years ago. The Lake Michigan shoreline around Little Traverse Bay and up the coast from Harbor to Goodhart are all favored locations to find this really cool fossil. We're almost halfway through our list. We're at number 6, which is our quaint, quiet cities and towns. I'm going to single out the town of Petoskey in just a minute, but you should know that among the best reasons to live and visit Emmet County are the small, warm, friendly communities that are found here amidst the wide open natural spaces and along our longed-for shorelines. These include the small towns of not only Petoskey, but Harbor Springs, Mackinac City, Alanson, Pellston, Bay Harbor, and even the tiny little enclave of Goodhart along the Tunnel of Trees. The town of Petoskey is the county seat with a population of 6,000, but this is the biggest town of 6,000 you'll ever visit. Here, we are blessed with the latest in healthcare treatments and technology at McLaren Northern Michigan Hospital and among all of our medical providers. In Petoskey, we have the best, most unique shopping opportunities and excellent dining with a dozen restaurants and breweries, wineries, and delis tucked into our quaint Gaslight district. We have beaches, marinas, and pockets of opulent resort homes intermingled with our traditional Victorian downtown and our family-friendly neighborhoods throughout the countryside. We have an active and vibrant arts and cultural community serving youth and adults, and a school district that is second to none. Have you heard about the Petoskey High School Steel Drum Band yet? When you come to visit Petoskey, you can expect to be treated with hospitality known as the Little Traverse Way, everywhere you go. We have arrived at number 5, which is the Tunnel of Trees and fall color. When I first moved to town, a new acquaintance warned me about the hazards of driving around Emmet County in the blaze of autumn glory. Careful, he said, that you don't run off the road. I laughed it off, but I can see the value in his advice to me back then as a newcomer. The color around Emmet County come late September and into October is absolutely stunning. It is one of nature's gifts to those who commit to the Northern Michigan lifestyle year-round. Each year, a palette of colors that cannot be adequately recreated by an artist's brush or captured in digital pixels sweeps across the hills and valleys and roadways in a rush of vibrancy. One of the best places for a fall color drive is the Tunnel of Trees, also known as M119 from Harbor Springs North. This coastline heritage route is a stunner. It hugs the shoreline cliff for mile after glorious mile. It's the only state highway in the United States without a center line too, so be prepared to go slowly and just enjoy the views. It's a beautiful drive in the summertime too, when the route is dappled with sunlight through the thick green canopy for 27 magnificent miles. But autumn is still my favorite time of year in Emmet County. We're in the home stretch now. We're at number 4. We have a really cool history in Emmet County that definitely deserves a place on our top 10 list. Way, way, way back before the French came to Northwest Michigan, the Odawa Indians called this area home. They gathered here for the subsistence they carved out of the landscape. Fresh, clean lakes for fishing, abundant wildlife for hunting, thick, dark forests for refuge, and their deep generational ties to this homeland. But they wouldn't get to keep it that way for long. The French discovered this area and established their own villages, beginning to trade with the natives and bringing their own cultural nuances to our shores. Next, it was the British who arrived and ultimately succeeded in controlling this area. Today, remnants of those historical pieces remain as vibrant reminders of our important past. Fort Michilimackinac, Mackinac Island, McAlpin Point Lighthouse, and a dozen stops along the Tunnel of Trees, as just a few examples, tell these stories in places where you can still stop today, experience them, and ponder the past. Here, committed historians keep our history alive by working on projects together, like a colorful magazine series that I'm holding here. We do geocache quests to historic sites in all corners of the county. A future display is coming of a full-size replica armed sloop. We have self-guided cell phone tours at our important locales and programs each year that draw hundreds to hear the lesser-known but hugely important stories from centuries ago. This place at the top of Michigan and the people who forged their way here played important roles in the development of not just Michigan, but the entire United States. And while none of us knows what our own legacy will be, in Emmet County we can be assured that the stories about our people and places will be protected for generations to come. Well, here we are. We're in our top 3. Number 3 is our sunsets. In 1873, a dazzled reporter from Grand Rapids was among those invited to board a train downstate and ride the line to its new ending point in Petoskey. It was a late fall day, and as the train whistled to a stop, the governor of Michigan disembarked, followed by the other dignitaries aboard. That reporter nearly fell off the podium when he emerged at just the moment when the sun was sinking into Little Traverse Bay, as if it was on cue. When he wrote his piece back home for the Grand Rapids paper about the wilderness excursion he had just had, he raved about Emmet County's $1 million sunsets. He was very apt in his description, and it has lived on. Today, it's still used to characterize this end-of-the-day show when the sun paints the sky a million shades of reds, pinks, purples, and oranges before slipping under the watery horizon. By the way, we should note that this is not just a summer phenomenon to enjoy. Each season of the year opens its own $1 million sunset paint palette. We're down to the final 2, and number 2 belongs to the Headlands International Dark Sky Park. Did you know that 2/3 of the people in the United States can no longer see the Milky Way from their home? How many stars can you see when you look upward from your own backyard? In northern Michigan, the night sky is one of our most treasured assets, and one that we've committed to protecting from the trespass of light pollution. In May 2011, Emmet County became a leader in dark sky protection, earning International Dark Sky designation for the Headlands, which is a 600-acre county-owned recreation property west of Mackinac City, right on Lake Michigan. At that time, we were among the first 10 in the whole world to achieve such prestigious recognition from the International Dark Sky Association. To prove it to them, we had to take readings with a sky quality meter that demonstrated the level of darkness above our park. Next, we had to commit to regular public educational outreach to our community. And finally, we had to ensure that in perpetuity, we would work diligently to keep light from spilling up into the sky and diluting the stars and celestial wonders above us. It's not just for the sake of humans viewing pleasure. There are many critters at the Headlands that rely on the dark of night for their survival, and studies show that dilution of the dark can have harmful health effects on us humans too. At the Headlands, thousands of people gather each year under the cloak of night to observe what many can no longer see in their own communities. Meteors shooting past, the dancing lights of the aurora borealis, and more constellations than you can possibly remember from college astronomy class. Our humanity-centered programming approach to talking about the night sky at the Headlands has earned us recognition around the globe, and that has truly been out of this world. We made it. We made it to the top spot on our list. And the number 1 reason for visiting and living in Emmet County is that we have something for everyone. Maybe you actually enjoy trouncing around neck deep in fresh snow, snowshoeing in a quiet forest, or flying down a black diamond. How about summer? Does the heat of a July day on a northern lake float your boat? Does the sight of autumn's vibrancy inspire you to get outside on a crisp afternoon with your camera in hand? And when the earth awakens from her winter slumber and trillium blankets the forest floors, can you start to taste the morel mushrooms sizzling in your pan? All year round, Emmet County has what it takes to provide a lifestyle where quality of life is everything. We use that tagline in our marketing materials simply because it's true. Life in Emmet County is about the authentic, genuine experiences that define our lives. For generations, the most respected and internationally regarded families, entrepreneurs, executives, and philanthropists have come to northern Michigan for rest and relaxation. In turn, they have discovered a wealth of reasons to invest more than just their time. We hope you can imagine yourself in Emmet County too. So there you have it, our top 10 list. But I knew I couldn't do it. I have to fit in one more bullet point to this top 10 list. It'll be quick, but it's the most important. It's you. Let us be your guide to the unparalleled way of life we enjoy in Emmet County. We would love to share it with you.